Joh once announced quite proudly that there were 7 homosexuals in Queensland, which is bullshit, of course, because his police were arresting more than 7 men a week for homosexual offences in public toilets. Brisbane is the capital city of Queensland, which is northeastern Australian state. Queensland was long held to be one of the most conservative Australian state. My name is Destiny. I moved to Brisbane to work for a newspaper. I quickly discovered gay bars. There was one diagonally across the street from the newspaper, the Siesta Bar. It didn't take long to investigate the gay bar. And before long, I was working in the drag show at the Silver Dollar, and I eventually quit the newspaper because it got in the way of my drinking and performing.
So the Joh Bjelke-Petersen era, he was in power for 18 years, which is a very long time. You know, it came with a whole bunch of racist attacks on land rights, you know, cracking down on civil liberties, the right to protest, the right to march, and also was known for a lot of corruption. That was basically what brought him down, was his corruption with nasty housing developers, nasty corporate mates, and with the police.
In the 50s, there were a lot of queens, particularly in the inner city suburbs, who used to go to parties in town. But the cops would bust these parties, and the drag queens would be there in Spring Hill or Red Hill, and the queens would be in their beautiful skirts and high heels, being chased by the cops, leaping back fences and running through people's backyards to get away. So the queens eventually decided they should do something to have some form of celebration without the bother of being raided. They settled on Mount Tamborine, well outside of Brisbane. No police station in those days. And the locals had quite taken to this annual queer influx by then, who may have been colourful, but they were also polite, as they spent at the local shop and they spent at the local pub. In fact, drinking the pub dry was an annual occurrence. The Queen's Ball, by the end of the 60s, it had outgrown Mount Tamborine. Sybil was able to move the ball to Nunda, and security was provided by the local bikie gang, who had friends with benefits, shall we say, amongst the queer community.
So Joh had a lot of enemies, students for one, Indigenous people, anti-Vietnam War protesters, trade unionists. If you thought there should be equal rights in Queensland, you could see that Joh was your enemy. He had a lot of enemies.
Costumes in the 70s were very much self-made. The budget for costumes was minimal. We had very little money. We were frozen out of jobs, real jobs, so to speak. We would make costumes. Some of us were very good at it, some of us were shit. But if you had no experience sewing, if you had to buy a gown from an op shop, well, we young ones quickly learned that we could alter them or add to them. So we had more individual costumes in these days. You certainly never went to a show and saw 5 queens in bought body stockings. In the 70s, though, things started to become a little more open. As far as queer venues went, there weren't that many. The Siesta Bar at the Hacienda Hotel was owned by the Forex Brewery, and I think the cops were reluctant to take on a major business, so the Siesta Bar operated as a very discreet gay bar. Queensland did not have a cabaret licence or nightclub licence in those days, only restaurants. So the Silver Dollar restaurant, you paid $3 or something, and for that you got a standard meal made, I think, in the 1400s and frozen ever since. You also got a dessert. It was a small glass bowl with a petrified jelly, People would use peach and jelly for cigarette butts, and we had to serve these meals to people who came in, whether they ate them or not, because the place was a restaurant, it was not a nightclub. When nightclubs came along, they were protected by the fact that the police were being invested with these blokes in the prostitution and drug money. So they were able to have gay customers without drama.
The branch of the linden is leafy and green. The Rhine gives its gold to the sea. But somewhere a glory awaits unseen. Tomorrow belongs to me.
On the beats, it was worse. The better cops, at least, would just arrest people for loitering or homosexual activity. Worse cops would blackmail men for money, pay us money, or we'd take you to the watch house. And the much worse cops would get their jollies bashing men just for the fun of it. When I was first introduced to the drag scene in the 70s, there'd been a bombing at the Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub. It had been firebombed, and the police were desperately searching to find someone who they could blame for it, preferably not actual perpetrators. It was a famous incident, about 19 people died, and 3 drag queens had left about 20 minutes before the bomb went off. So the police rounded up the drag queens and took them into the Roma Street watch house, where they did the interrogations. Tina Louise, who was actually a married man with about 6 kids, had a gun held to her head, the trigger pulled, Russian roulette sort of thing, and it basically drove her crazy. She packed up the wife and kids, moved to Sydney, someone else that Queensland lost, and someone who suffered terribly under the regime. I once walked out of Old Rose restaurant in the city and was on Queen Street looking for a cab, and 2 cops pulled up, jumped out, searched me, looked in my underwear, made me take the wig off, and basically told me, "You poofters belong in the valley, don't come into the city or we will get you." Many fled to Sydney, New South Wales being regarded as a more liberal regime. Many people committed suicide. It was a difficult time to live in this state.
Without it, there's people who otherwise might think, well, I'm in a minority, I feel really powerless, and the demonstrations can actually give a boost of confidence to LGBTI people that it is possible to fight and win our rights, and also that the majority of society accepts us, and what you can see in the media, what is sometimes peddled about in the news, doesn't actually reflect what, in general, people think.
The silver dollar had gone up for sale, and then Neil bought it, and he opened Terminus Cabaret Restaurant, the first blatantly gay bar. Although Neil would never have called it that at the time, nor would anyone else, or it would have been shut. There was a great diversity there. Neil gave me the freedom on that microphone to say whatever the fuck I wanted to say, so I said it.
Humour was a lot crueler, a lot harder, and a lot more about what was going on in the world. So I would certainly joke about the government. It was a very easy way to get a laugh because it was a common enemy. So I ran up where the Prince Consort Hotel was, and there were National Party posters out the front. So I grabbed one, and during the show, we burnt it in the middle of the stage to great cheering. All queer history is so important. For most of our history was taboo. We were taboo. Discussion of us was taboo. That once this visibility came along, we seized it and ran with it.
The experience of marching down the streets of the Brisbane CBD for one of the first times, streets that beforehand you just kind of walk down and see cops harassing people and means you're just on your way to buy something. That's what the city is. Well, actually, we're taking the streets now to demand our equal rights, and we're loud and we're proud. That's an experience that changes the experience of the city for you. And then we won the vote, of course, 38 to 62. Fuck you, Tony Abbott. Yeah, we won the marriage equality vote, and this meant that attitudes were changed. Like, it made me think about previous fights in Queensland, how we even won the right to protest to begin with. So that marriage equality campaign started off my interest in learning about activist history in Queensland.
I know now, writing for the queer community, a lot of people think it's all over with. It's not. But there's also a minority of our community, and a big enough minority, who have always fought for our rights. We are going to need them in the near future and the distant future. The fight for our rights is never a given. No matter what we achieve, these bastards will always be there, looking to take it away from us and deny us the right to an equal share in the community that we live and work in.
Life is great in the Sunshine State. Every Queensland heart sings a song. To its tablelands and its golden sands, we are proud to say we belong. And our faith is great in the Sunshine State, for our Queensland future is grand. From the northern Cape to the western plain, it's a full of promised land. All the while, every mile, there's a sunlit smile and a welcome handshake too. For friendship's great in the Sunshine State, may its sunshine